We get information on individuals as far as licensing, but if those individuals have had a disciplinary past, we can relate that information to you. So it might help in your decision making whether you want to deal with a person who's had problems in the past.
Or if they have a clean record, we can also tell you that they have a clean record as well. Do not rely on the testimony of others. This is when a lot of times you'll see testimonials on TV. You don't know if the person's being paid to say what they're being said, or you don't know if they're involved in a scam and they just don't know it yet. They're not aware of the situation. So do not rely on the testimony of others. Call our office, check with our office to make sure that people are licensed and registered. That's usually going to be your safe bet. And beware when people are giving testimonials, beware of the use of names and groups of other people, because they may not have given the okay for their name to be used in that testimonial. Now, there's a lot of different ways to spot con artists. The first one is they like to blend in. I'm not going to be able to sit in the crowd and say, hey, you know what, you're a con artist. These guys like to blend in. They dress for success. And they like to push products that are not well known. We have a story in our office that we like to, there was a gentleman, came in full suit, tie, sat down with the lady, briefcase, and ended up being a fraudulent scam, and they asked why, and the lady said, well, he looked professional. He was dressed for success. I thought he was real. He looked professional. That's why we went with him and ended up being a fraudulent scam. Like they said, they like to push products that are not well known, so you can't do a lot of the research on the internet to see and get background information on the product. A lot of times these guys will bring out the worst in you. They'll make you feel bad. They'll say, you know what, you don't have any money saved up because you weren't smart enough to start young enough. They'll make you feel gut-wrenching horrible so that you have to do this investment opportunity. They purposely bring out the worst in you. They're also fair weather friends. Once they get the money out of you, they're gone. You're not going to see them again. We've seen many stories where that's been the situation. They'll invest their money, and then next thing you know, the people are gone. After you invest your money, there's some very simple tips, what you need to do. Read your statements. Read what you get in the mail. A lot of times it's fine print. Take the magnifying glass to it if you need to. Read the fine print and read the information. If there's something you don't understand, question it. Call the person you're working with. They're there to educate you. If they don't educate you, they're not doing their job. If you don't understand it, ask. Some of the problems that we tend to see in this situation is unsuitable purchases. If you get your statement in the mail and you realize there's a purchase that you didn't authorize on your statement, that should be a red flag for you. If there's unauthorized trading or excessive trading on your statements, that should be another red flag. And that's why it's important to read those statements. The bottom line is you need to investigate before you invest. You're going to save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of problems, a lot of empty bank accounts if you remember to do your homework first and investigate before you invest.
Investing does take a lot of work. Don't be fooled by somebody telling you, I'll take care of everything for you. It's your money. Make sure you keep an eye on it. Questions need to be asked. Ask them. If you're not getting satisfactory answers, ask another professional.
Some of the resources available to you for information, obviously the Indiana Secretary of State's website, which is sos.in.gov, or our website, which is indianainvestmentwatch.com. We've got a lot of different information available to investors. Obviously, the licensing and registration status would probably be one of the most important. You can also check with the Securities and Exchange Commission and one of our regulatory bodies, the North American Securities Administrators Association. Their website is NASA with an extra A at the end of it. If you have any further questions, definitely visit our website, which is indianainvestmentwatch.com. We have a lot of our brochures and information available on the website, in addition to videos on a lot of these topics that we've talked about today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning and thank you for coming. My name is Denny Smith and I am here on behalf of WIBC FM radio to help you with budgeting and personal finance. This is part of Protect Your Pockets for Secretary of State Todd Rokita's program. I'm pleased to be here. My job is to help you, and I'm not going to overwhelm you with budgeting. The first thing that I'm going to tell you is something that you probably had not anticipated, and that is that each of you in here has the power to acquire great wealth. You may not have ever learned how to do that. You may have not given yourself permission to be wealthy, but I'm going to give you a couple of simple ways to start to acquire wealth so that you too can enjoy the dreams of wealth. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you, though, is that every week when I close my program, I say, money's not everything. It's just that having money makes things so much easier in life, and it is truly the people in your life that are worth $1 million, and you can't ever forget that part. On the other hand, when we realize that money is the measuring tool for most of us in life, it makes some sense to try and acquire some. So I'm going to teach you 3 simple steps on how to acquire wealth, and then sort of make that automatic so you don't have to worry about it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to refer you to wibc.com. If you'll come down the left-hand side of that website, wibc.com, you'll see Denny Smith on the Saturday shows. You click on Denny, and then you will go to our website, and off to the right-hand side, you're going to see some reference tools. When you click on references, you're going to find several books that are very, very good for exactly why you're in here. There are 2 that I would like to recommend to you. The first one is The Total Money Makeover. That is a very good book. It's listed there. I believe that's by Dave Ramsey. The second one is The Automatic Millionaire. The Automatic Millionaire is part of what I'm going to be covering with you today, and it's written by David Bosch. Both of those books are excellent. They come with simple tools and simple things for you to do. All right, we've got that out of the way. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you, I guess this is the third thing I'm going to tell you, is that budgeting really doesn't work. Now, we have state budgets. Do the state budgets work? Not really. If you've ever done a personal budget where you lay out all of your expenses, the first thing you say to yourself is, oh my gosh, I don't have any money. There's just not enough money. I've got too much week for the money that I have. What we have to do is measure where the money is going. And in about 5 short minutes, I'm going to teach you how to do that. What you need is a 3x5 card, just maybe 3 or 4 3x5 cards. If you don't have 3x5 cards, a small notebook will do. If you don't have a small notebook, take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, cut it into 4 pieces. What I'm going to ask you to do is to write down everything that you spend for 3 days. Now, this will be a hard task for you. Some of you will make one day. Some of you will make it to noon on the first day. Some of you will make it to the end of the first day. And some of you will make it to all 3 of the days. When you get up in the morning, if you leave the house and you go to the Speedway and you want a cup of coffee, you write down that you bought a cup of coffee, what size and how much you paid. If you buy some chewing gum, if you buy a pop, if you buy a breakfast sandwich, the idea here is that you're going to start inventorying for just 3 days. This is the only work you have to do in this process. When we begin budgeting, we have to know where the money is going. We know what's coming in. We know what our paycheck is. Does everybody here within a couple dollars know what you're going to get every week? Yeah. So that's the easy part. We know what our income is. We pretty much know what our house payment or our car payment or our rent is for our apartments. We know about how much we spend for food. What we don't know is where is the leak in the bucket. We've got to find the leak in the bucket. There's water going out of the bucket. I spent the first half of my life being a plumber, and I chased down leaks forever and ever and ever. You just have to track the pipe, you find where the leak is, and you usually fix it. What I'm going to tell you today is we're not going to fix the leak, we're going to redirect it. The only way you can fix the leak and find the leak and take care of this problem, which is you don't have enough money to save, and if you don't have enough money to save, you can't make any wealth, then we have to find out where the leak is. These 3x5 cards, or this notebook that you're going to keep, you're going to list down everything that you buy. If you go to Hardee's, if you go to McDonald's, and you buy a sandwich, make sure you put down what type of sandwich you buy. People are going to think you're on a diet, because you're writing down all this food, and you're not putting down the calorie count, you're going to put down the money amount. The idea is to start finding the money. Now, if I were to ask you, would you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a year if it meant that you could be a millionaire? Anybody? Yeah, you'd pretty much consider that. If you'd eat bologna sandwiches instead of maybe going to Mickey D's or Arby's and picking up a roast beef sandwich, if it meant that you could be wealthy, would you do that? Yeah, of course you would. That's where we're going with this. What we have to do is find out where you're spending the money. Is the money worth it? Are we wasting the money? And can that money be put to something else? Now, let me tell you a quick secret. What we're looking for is about $10 a day. If you can find $10 a day, that's about $60 a week. If we multiply that out, that can be tremendous wealth. After 25 years, that can be somewhere in the neighborhood of $440,000 to $450,000. That's some serious money. That's money that will help you in retirement. That's money that would probably carry you through retirement. If you do this when you're young, most of you in here are very young. You may not feel young, but you're very young in terms of investing terms. If you do this for over 30 years, you'd be surprised how quickly it will amount to almost $1 million. Now, I'm not going to play the